Tonight, Drive to Survive. Travel costs for regional residents seeking medical treatment to be reimbursed in Broken Hill and surrounds. And a Whyalla Park becomes wheelchair friendly and installs signs to help those who can't speak have their voices heard.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First up tonight, Broken Hill residents requiring specialist healthcare are among the more than 45,000 people in rural and regional New South Wales set to benefit from more money being poured into the Isolated Patients Travel and Accommodation Assistance Scheme. The government announced a further $149 million in funding for the project today, which aims to ensure people living in the bush won't have to make the decision between getting the healthcare they need and other life necessities. The subsidy for those requiring accommodation will be almost doubled, while the private vehicle subsidy rate will go from 22 cents to 40 cents per kilometre for patients who have to travel more than 100 kilometres for care. Minister for Regional Health, Bronnie Taylor, gave the example of someone living in Deniliquin with specialist care facility needs in Wagga Wagga would now be eligible for financial assistance received under the changes. Lifting and rigging service provider Nobles has called in administrators this week following years of losses. The business employs 170 staff between its Whyalla, Roxby Downs and Kilburn headquarters. The company has been in operation for more than 100 years since 1911, but economists say Nobles has struggled to bounce back from the end of the mining boom, with COVID-19 also playing a role in its recent demise. Administrators are currently working with its creditors, the company's directors and a potential purchaser to save the company from closure. Police issued fines to 2 alleged drunk drivers last week, one in Streaky Bay and the other in Caniba. The first incident occurred around 5 p.m. last Wednesday. There, police allegedly spotted a man driving a Ford SUV on Alfred Terrace whilst using his phone and driving. A 60-year-old man from Streaky Bay then returned a positive blood alcohol test, allegedly reading 0.05. The driver was reported for alleged drink driving and issued with an on-the-spot fine for using his phone while behind the wheel. He'll appear in court at a later date. The following day, on Thursday the 16th of June, Ceduna Police stopped a woman driving a Holden station wagon on Miller Street in Caniba. The 34-year-old local woman allegedly blew a blood alcohol reading of 0.192, almost 4 times the legal limit. The woman was reported for alleged drink driving, with her car impounded for 28 days. She was issued with a 12-month instant loss of licence and will be summoned to appear in court at a later date. A Whyalla Park is now more accessible than ever to people living with a disability. The city's Disability Inclusive Reference Group says they hope the alterations made to the park will allow more people to get out and play.
A fun and safe day at the park for all. A ramp has been installed at Whyalla's Wilson Park so wheelchairs can now safely access the tennis courts. A symbol board has also been installed to help non-verbal people communicate.
A child who's got a disability who's feeling a little bit frustrated when they're playing in a park can go over to their symbols and rather than express themselves verbally, they're able to point at a symbol.
I'm really happy with the communication board. It gives more people a voice that are unable to properly communicate for themselves.
The chart contains 35 symbols that can be used to communicate a range of feelings and needs a non-verbal person may want to express, along with a QR code that can be scanned by a smart device to display information about the board and how to use it.
This is our first one, so hopefully if this is a success, we'll be rolling them out in other parks within the city.
The group made sure the new sign was positioned at a level where it could be accessible to people in a wheelchair.
Today we've got the members here from the group, all with a disability, and they're the people behind picking the symbols for the board. They have the lived experience, so they're the experts, and we've tapped into their opinions to develop the board.
Very happy that we can do something to improve people's lives.
The board is also sporting the group's brand new logo, designed to show their inclusive nature.
All people are welcome from all diverse backgrounds, and those with disability or those caring for people with disability are welcome to the group, and the group's so proud to be able to badge this board today with their symbol.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, the travelling food truck to go down the brick and mortar route after finding a permanent location in one of the Spencer Gulf's largest towns. And forced into silence by COVID, the local Philharmonic choir sings for a crowd in Broken Hill. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. Smoky Uppercuts Beach Bar and Barbecue are back, securing a permanent spot in Whyalla. However, the famous food truck is still touring the regions, making a stop in Port Lincoln over the weekend to deliver locals some of SA's finest slow-cooked foods.
The flame burning brightly for Smoky Uppercuts. The American-styled barbecue food truck made a welcome stop in Port Lincoln over the weekend, delivering some mouth-watering meals.
You know, if you're hungry, we've got brisket, we've got pork, we've got chicken wings and snags. They all get put through here. All our sides, the mac and cheese. We've got cowboy beans. We've got, the mac and cheese and cowboy beans. No meat product. We've got some corn ribs.
Dylan and the Smoky team pulled up shop at the Ford dealership where they were showing off the new WRX. The smell of slow-cooked barbecue attracting visitors throughout the day.
Very, very happy to come to businesses in other towns, and that helps attract customers to their business, and we like to sort of share it around. We've done Super Cheap Auto a couple of times here, we've done Beer Garden Brewing.
After 3 years on the road, Smoky Uppercuts has secured property in Whyalla, where they hope to create a new type of dining experience for their customers.
We are amped to start moving in there and start making that place our own. The vision we have, there's going to be indoor, outdoor, the smokers are going to be on display permanently.
The team always updating their menu, making sure there is something for everyone. The food might be slow cooked, but the wheels in the food truck are moving fast, with more scheduled visits to townships across the region yet to come.
We will be back here in Port Lincoln on the 13th of August for the actual grand reveal of the new Ford Ranger. So we're really looking forward to that. But week before that, we're returning back to Roxby for the Roxby races.
To find out when Smoky Uppercuts are visiting your town next, make sure to check into their Facebook page. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
After 2 years in the wilderness, the Broken Hill Philharmonic Choir made a welcome return to the stage on Sunday afternoon. They delighted the crowd in attendance with some lovely songs of hope for the perfect afternoon to be spent indoors.
There is nothing like the thrill of performing. And after 2 years out of the spotlight, the Philharmonic Choir stepped back into it, and it was like no time had passed at all.
We used to have quite a following, and I'd say a good proportion of them were there yesterday, and it just felt like time fell away, and we hadn't missed 2 years.
There were some familiar faces smiling at the stage from the crowd, and while some of them were regular attendees of previous shows, there was also a couple of former members in the audience, who will hopefully also return to the stage one day.
Not yet, haven't heard anything from anybody yet, but there was one chorister who was sitting right up the back who said to me that, it was sort of making her want to come back.
It was a nice afternoon to enjoy some beautiful songs and some amazing voices.
We miss so much.
The message from the performers was a simple one. There is hope on the horizon.
It was really good, and I was happy with the theme, and I was happy with the way the songs fell together as a group. I would have liked to probably put in a few more.
The afternoon also featured some guest solo performers, as young singer Grace Malloy, choir member Mark Curtis, and flautist Kyla Vine all took centre stage.
You don't generally get someone of that calibre in a regional town like this, so we're very, very fortunate to have Kyla, and very, very happy that she's playing on our stage again.
If you'd like to join the Broken Hill Philharmonic Choir, you can contact them through Facebook. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. One of Australia's most haunted places goes on hiatus. And from giant soccer balls to tiny tennis courts, Broken Hill's Active Fest goes off without a hitch. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. Dog owners who are regulars at the Frank Green Dog Park are being advised the area will be closed until Wednesday afternoon. Port Pirie Council says the temporary closure is due to old cricket nets being removed, but visitors can take their pups there before 7:30am and after 5pm daily. Council also says it will simply be too dangerous having dogs running around while there is machinery on site. Things are looking to be back to normal come Thursday. The famous old Gladstone jail in the state's mid-north is set to temporarily close to visitors. The closure comes as the current caretakers of the site have surrendered their licence. The state heritage listed site will undergo key maintenance work during this time, the former caretakers leaving behind their researched history for the next set of caretakers. So the long-standing tradition of overnight haunting will continue. The jail is promoted as one of the most haunted places in the country. Broken Hill's Active Fest was a big hit over the weekend, with families getting together and enjoying everything on offer. From tennis to skateboarding and even some tug of war, there was something for everyone, no matter the skill level.
Even though the sun only came out sporadically, it didn't stop the locals from heading to Sturt Park and getting active.
Man, I'm actually very surprised at the turnout. It's a lot more than I was originally expecting, and the engagement with the service providers and the kids has been phenomenal.
Tennis proved to be pretty popular at the festival, with quite a few kids picking up a racket to test their serve against Tennis New South Wales staff or mum and dad.
They're absolutely loving it. It's been fantastic, seeing all the kids get involved in tennis since it's not the most popular sport in Broken Hill. So it's really, really nice to see the outcome of how it's going today.
Some of the kids proved to be quite comfortable on the makeshift courts. Who knows? Maybe a future Wimbledon champion will come from the Silver City.
There's heaps. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful and the kids get really wrapped into it. So absolutely. I think we've got heaps of tennis stars here. That's for sure. Absolutely.
And with how much interest was shown with the sport, Tennis New South Wales says they would love to come back.
Yeah, we'll see what happens since I'm local. Well, always around, but with these guys, hopefully that's for sure. It'll be nice.
For sure. With the interest that we've seen today, hopefully we can make this a regular thing.
While it was all about the kids having fun and trying new things, the message was clear. Get out and have some fun.
Look, essentially, the simple message is to get out and be active, but we've come through COVID and we're just coming through the restrictions of COVID, and we want to bring a community together in a positive environment, and there's not a better way to do that than bringing together kids in sports.
And on whether Active Fest will return this year or next?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. We love coming out here, so if we get the opportunity to come out here, we definitely will.
Hopefully the sun will make more of an appearance next time. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. From Port Lincoln to Broken Hill, we check the footy scores from the weekend and we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. Some cold weather over the weekend had spectators at our region's footy games rugging up or sitting in their cars with the heater on. However, the dreary days weren't enough to deter our players from hitting the ovals for some close contests. Here's Edward McCarroll with this week's footy wrap.
This weekend in Whyalla footy, Rapina took on North Whyalla yesterday in a nail-biting match that would be decided by 1 point. As the winter wind picked up, players stormed Bennett Oval knowing this could be anyone's game. Austin Taylor showing good form for Rapina, with Lachlan Coombs for North also matching that energy throughout the game. But in the end, it was the Magpies that took the chocolates, inching just ahead in the final quarter to beat Rapina 33-32. On Saturday, South faced Roona Bay in what turned into a very one-sided contest. The Bay's Aaron Rodgers making the most of the holes in Southie's defence to put away 6 goals for his team. The Tigers going on to beat Souths by 136 points. On the other side of town at Bennett Oval, West took on Centrals in a much closer match. West eager to knock top dog Centrals down a peg this weekend and open the contest back up. But Centrals were still too good for them, with Brendan Colson leading a strong team of goal scorers this weekend. The Roosters beating the Dragons 85-66. Over in Port Lincoln, Mallee Park faced off against Lincoln South at Centenary Oval. Lincoln South coming away with the win, beating the Peckers by 14 points. In the other games, Marble Range beat Tasman 76-64, while Wayback defeated Boston 49-46. In the Spencer Golf League, South Augusta were kicking goals all Saturday, scoring 141 points against Solomon Town to take the win. Trent Ritter making up a big part of South's scoreline, kicking 7 goals. In the other games, Prop Risdon decimated Central Augusta in an 84-point thrashing, while Port turned it on against West Augusta, winning the game 128-54. Over the border in Broken Hill, at Jubilee Oval, North defeated West by 19 points, and in the other game, Centrals were defeated by South in a close match, 90-98. That's it for this week's Footy Wrap. Tune in tomorrow where we'll take a look at the region's other sports results.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, some rain lingering around the region today.
Yeah, that's right, Maddie. Most places received a few drops in the gauges today. Not much, but enough to make a dent. Around 0.5 millimetre fell in Cleve, Port Pirie and Snowtown. A little bit further out of the way, 5 millimetres have been recorded over in Stenhouse Bay since 9 this morning. Taking a look at some of today's temperatures now, Whyalla reached 19 degrees just after 3 p.m. this afternoon, partly cloudy conditions. Blue skies around Broken Hill today. It got to 18 degrees, but the feels like temp was around 14.5, and 14 was the top in Clare. Taking a look at the rest of the region now, temperatures were in the mid to late teens, 17 the top in Port Pirie and Kadina, slightly cooler in the capital, just 15 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a cold front is moving over central and eastern districts tonight. A high pressure system will move over the far west, then over northern parts of South Australia early to midweek. Another cold front is expected to move over the south of the state on Friday. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots, turning northwesterly during the morning. Seas around 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre, increasing up to 1.5. Moving on to tomorrow's temperatures now. Let's start with the Eyre Peninsula. Between 9 and 19 degrees in Port Lincoln, with a shower or two there. 8 to 17 degrees in Cleve, partly cloudy, and Woodton will have a low of 7 degrees overnight, warming up to 19 on Tuesday. Partly cloudy in Whyalla, 18 degrees tomorrow, mostly sunny, and 19 in Port Augusta. After an overnight low of just 6 degrees, between 8 and 16 in Kadina. Mostly sunny in Port Pirie, temperatures varying by 10 degrees between 7 and 17. Partly cloudy and 14 the top in Clare. Broken Hill sunny and 15 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, let's start with Wednesday's forecast. 20 degrees in Cooper Pedy, Port Augusta and Woodner. Possible showers in Port Lincoln, 19 degrees. 19 in Port Pirie and Whyalla. It's looking sunny just about everywhere on Thursday. Port Lincoln, the only centre on our map without a sun icon. Instead, the Bureau is predicting 20 degrees and some rain. And lastly, a quick look at Friday's forecast now. Temps in the mid to late teens with some possible rainfall everywhere, but Port Augusta, Broken Hill and Cooper Pedy. So overall, Maddie, bit of rain, bit of sun, bit of cloud. Fair to say it's a bit of a mixed bag. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thank you for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.